Do you ever lie awake at night, replaying that one awkward moment from earlier today, wishing you had said something different, done something differently, caught in a loop of what-ifs that won't let you rest? Maybe it's the job you didn't get, the message you sent but shouldn't have, the worry that tomorrow will be just as overwhelming as today. If that's you, you're not weak. You're not broken. You're simply human. Anxiety is no longer just an occasional guest in our lives. For many, it's a constant companion, a quiet hum in the background of everything we do. But what if I told you that the wisdom to silence that hum has been waiting for you all along? Over 2,000 years ago, a group of thinkers faced the same emotional storms we do now. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of not being enough. But instead of escaping those fears, they learned how to face them, and through that they found peace. They were the Stoics, and their wisdom, it wasn't written for scholars. It wasn't locked away in old scrolls or dusty libraries. It was lived, tested, proven, in real life, in the mess, in the silence, in the noise. And today it can be yours. In this video, you're going to learn 7 powerful Stoic tactics. Not just philosophical quotes or pretty ideas, but tools you can use today to calm your thoughts, to regain control, to see the world and yourself through a new lens. These tactics were once considered dangerous because they don't promise comfort. They offer something better: clarity, strength, freedom from needing everything to be perfect. You don't need a retreat in the mountains. You don't need to delete all your apps or change your entire life. You just need a shift in perspective and the courage to look inward. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll walk away with more than ancient wisdom. You'll walk away with practical peace, the kind that doesn't come from avoiding life, but from understanding how to live it fully. Let's begin. The number 1 Stoic tactics: practice negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. There's something about the thought of losing what we cherish most that makes our hearts tighten and our minds race. Most of us try to avoid this, pushing away the fear, the pain, the possibility of loss like a shadow we don't want to see. We hope that if we don't think about it, it won't come true. But the Stoics saw this very differently. They believed that by imagining the worst, by consciously bringing loss, hardship, or failure into the light of day, they could prepare their minds for it. This wasn't an exercise in pessimism or despair. It was an act of courage, a way to meet fear on their own terms, instead of letting fear sneak in and rule from the darkness. Imagine, for a moment, losing something precious. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a dream you've held onto for years. Feel the ache of that absence, the silence where once there was joy. Now here's the surprising truth the Stoics discovered. When you face this loss in your mind first, you soften its blow. The pain loses its power to paralyze you. Your gratitude for what you still have grows deeper. You don't take your blessings for granted anymore, because you've imagined what life would be without them. It's a practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. In today's world, it's easy to avoid thinking about what might go wrong. We're constantly distracted, endlessly busy, scrolling through news feeds filled with perfection and promises. But this avoidance leaves us vulnerable to shock and despair when life inevitably shifts. So here's a modern way to use this ancient tactic. Each morning, spend just a few minutes imagining your day taking a turn for the worse. What if a meeting goes badly? What if you face criticism? What if plans fall through? See it clearly. Feel the emotions, but don't get lost in them. Then, when you step into the real day, no matter what comes your way, you carry a quiet, unshakable calm, because you've already met the difficulties before they arrived. You've rehearsed your response. This isn't about fearing life. It's about embracing it, fully prepared. When you practice this regularly, your mind becomes a fortress. Anxiety loses its grip, not because the bad things disappear, but because your reaction to them changes. You become someone who is grateful not in spite of uncertainty, but because of it. And in that gratitude, you find peace. Number 2 is detach from what you don't control. There's a simple truth that can change everything, yet it's one we often forget in the noise of daily life. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus said it plainly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Think about that for a moment. There are things in your life, your thoughts, your choices, your actions, that you hold the power to shape. And then there are things beyond your reach. The weather, other people's feelings, the opinions they form about you, the outcome of events. Yet how often do we exhaust ourselves chasing after what we cannot change? How many nights have you felt restless, replaying the same worries, trying to control the uncontrollable? The truth is, when you obsess over things outside your control, you are caught in a trap that steals your energy, that steals your peace, that leaves you feeling powerless and small. But what if you could break free? What if you could clearly see what belongs to you, your thoughts, your actions, and what is not? This is where the circle of control becomes a powerful tool. Take a piece of paper, or simply imagine it in your mind. Draw a circle. Inside this circle, write down everything that truly belongs to you. Your effort, your responses, your mindset. Outside the circle, list everything you are worried about that you cannot change. The weather, what others say about you, the outcome of that project, the traffic on your way to work. Now, look at that list outside the circle and cross out what isn't yours to carry. Feel the relief that comes with that act. Not because you are giving up, but because you are choosing to focus your strength where it matters most. By letting go of the things beyond your power, you clear space inside yourself. You stop wasting your precious energy trying to wrestle the wind. And in that space, anxiety begins to fade, because your mind is no longer scattered chasing shadows. It is centered. It is calm. It is ready to respond with clarity, not chaos. This is not about shutting out the world or pretending problems don't exist. It's about recognizing what belongs to you, what you can influence, and what is not, and giving yourself permission to release what isn't yours. When you practice this, you begin to understand that peace is not about controlling the storm. It's about learning to sail your ship through it. And the first step in that journey is knowing which ropes you hold in your hands. Number 3 Stoic tactics. Amor fati, love your fate. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. It rarely unfolds the way we imagine or hope. We make plans, set goals, dream big. And then, just when we feel steady, everything shifts. Doors close. Dreams stall. Unexpected challenges appear. It's easy to feel defeated, frustrated, even angry at these moments. To see setbacks as punishment, obstacles as barriers. But the Stoics taught us something far deeper and more freeing. They said, don't just accept what happens to you. Love it. This idea is called amor fati, literally, the love of fate. It's the radical choice to welcome everything life offers, even the things we don't want. To embrace your circumstances, not as enemies, but as teachers, as fuel for growth. Imagine for a moment, every difficulty you face is not against you, but for you. Every failure, every mistake, every closed door is a chance to learn something new. Every pain is a call to rise stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect or sugarcoating hardship. It's about changing the story you tell yourself about what happens when life trips you up. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Shift to, this is happening for me. It's a small shift in words, but it opens a whole new world inside. You stop being the victim of circumstance and become the author of your response. You see obstacles not as walls, but as stepping stones. This mindset doesn't erase pain or struggle. It simply changes your relationship with them. It invites you to find meaning and purpose even in the hardest moments. Modern life often teaches us to resist what is uncomfortable or painful, to fight against change, cling to control, or avoid failure at all costs. But amor fati invites you to meet life as it comes, with an open heart, to say yes to the messiness, the unpredictability, the imperfections, to love your fate, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. And in that love, you find freedom. Freedom from bitterness, freedom from regret, freedom from the endless what-ifs that keep your mind tangled in worry. When you truly love your fate, anxiety loses its grip. You become grounded in the present, no longer afraid of what tomorrow might bring. You realize that no matter what happens, you have within you the strength to face it and to find meaning in it. So the next time life throws you a curveball, repeat this mantra quietly, steadily. This is happening for me, not to me. Let those words sink deep. Let them soften your heart and steady your mind. Because when you love your fate, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are its greatest ally. And for the number 4 is voluntary discomfort. Train your mind for chaos. There's a surprising secret buried deep in Stoic practice, one that many shy away from today, but one that carries the power to transform your mind and heart completely. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, chose to live with discomfort. He would sleep on the hard floor. He ate simple, even poor meals, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Why would anyone willingly make their life harder? Because he understood something most of us have forgotten. The mind, much like the body, grows stronger when tested. Seneca wanted to prove, first to himself, that he could endure whatever life threw at him, that he would not be broken by hardship or unexpected pain. In a world that constantly seeks comfort, ease, and instant pleasure, this choice feels almost radical. But it's exactly this willingness to face discomfort on our own terms that builds unshakable resilience. Think about it for a moment. How often do you find yourself overwhelmed, anxious, or defeated when things get even a little difficult? How quickly do your thoughts race toward panic when life doesn't go smoothly? Voluntary discomfort is a way of training your mind, teaching it that chaos, hardship, and challenge aren't enemies to fear, but conditions you can face calmly, even with strength. Here's how you can start applying this ancient wisdom today, with simple, modern practices. Take cold showers. For a minute or two each day, step into the cold water and let it hit your skin. Feel the shock. Feel the tension. But don't run away. Stay with it. Let your breath steady. Watch your mind find calm amid the discomfort. Try fasting for 12 hours, say from dinner one night until lunch the next day. You don't have to starve yourself, but simply choose to go without food for a time, to remind your body and mind that you can survive discomfort and emerge strong. Walk without your phone. Leave it behind, or turn it off. Walk outside, disconnected from distraction and noise. Notice how your mind reacts to the silence, to the absence of constant connection. This is your training ground for presence and resilience. Each small discomfort you face on purpose is like a weight lifted in the gym of your soul. You build muscle where once there was weakness. You gain confidence where once there was doubt. You learn to say to yourself, I can endure this. I am not defeated by this. This isn't about punishment or suffering for suffering's sake. It's about reclaiming your power, proving to yourself that you don't need external comfort to feel whole or safe. When you train your mind with voluntary discomfort, life's unexpected chaos loses its sting. You become someone who can stand firm when storms arrive, because you've already faced small storms of your own choosing. You become unbreakable, not because you avoid pain, but because you welcome it and let it teach you how strong you truly are. Number 5 is memento mori. Remember, you will die. It might sound heavy at first, perhaps even unsettling, but memento mori is one of the most freeing ideas you'll ever encounter. Memento mori means remember you will die. It's a reminder that life is not infinite, that every moment you have is precious because it is limited. Most of us spend so much time caught up in trivial worries, endless distractions, and things that don't really matter. We fret over conversations we can't change, judgments from others, deadlines, mistakes, small things that, in the grand scheme, hold very little weight. But when you truly hold the truth of your own mortality in your mind, all of that noise begins to fade. Suddenly, the things that once seemed urgent lose their grip on your heart. Why? Because the knowledge of death sharpens your focus. It clears away the clutter. It brings you face to face with what truly matters. When you remember that your time here is limited, maybe just today, maybe many years, maybe much less, it changes everything. The anxiety about little things loosens its hold. The pressure to be perfect, to please everyone, to get every little thing right, those pressures start to feel less important. You begin to see your life as a whole, not a collection of stressful moments. You start to live with intention, not out of fear. Modern life is filled with distractions that keep death far from our minds. We push it away, afraid to think about it. But the Stoics taught that remembering death isn't morbid, it's liberating. It's a way to wake up, to live fully, and to appreciate the preciousness of now. Here's a simple way to bring memento mori into your daily life. Set a daily reminder on your phone. Just a simple note that says, "You could leave life right now." Not to scare you, not to make you anxious, but to free you, to remind you to breathe deeply, to cherish the people you love, to pursue what truly moves your soul, to remind you that every breath is a gift. When that reminder pops up, take a moment. Feel the weight of the truth, but also the lightness that comes with it. Feel your worries shrink, your perspective widen. Feel gratitude rise where fear once lived. This practice isn't about dwelling on death. It's about fully embracing life. It's about waking up to the reality that every moment is fleeting, and that makes it sacred. In this awareness, anxiety about the small stuff loses its power. You begin to move through your day with calm and clarity. You become more present, more alive, more connected to what truly matters. So don't fear memento mori. Welcome it as a friend who gently reminds you. Live now. Love deeply. Be bold. Because your time is a treasure, and only you hold the key to how you use it. Number 6 is turn the obstacle into the path. There's a moment in life when everything feels like it's working against you. Maybe it's a difficult conversation you're avoiding. Maybe it's a fear that holds you back from taking the next step. Maybe it's a problem that seems too big, too heavy to carry. In those moments, anxiety wraps itself tightly around your heart. You want to run away, to hide, to push the challenge aside. But the Stoics teach us something powerful and deeply hopeful. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, said simply, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That means the very thing blocking your path is not your enemy. It's your teacher, your opportunity, your way forward. When you resist the obstacle, when you fight it or try to avoid it, anxiety grows. It feeds on your fear and uncertainty. But when you face the obstacle directly, something shifts inside you. The resistance begins to dissolve. The obstacle stops being a wall and becomes a stepping stone. What if the challenges you dread are exactly the assignments you need to grow? What if every problem you encounter is actually inviting you to rise, to learn, to evolve? This is not just ancient wisdom. It's a mindset you can practice today. The modern twist is simple. Pay attention to what you're avoiding. What's the conversation you keep putting off? What's the task you keep delaying? What's the fear you've been quietly carrying inside? Whatever it is, run toward it. Don't run away. Step into the discomfort, not away from it. By doing this, you train your mind to see obstacles not as threats, but as the path itself. You begin to understand that life's challenges are not detours. They are the road. And on this road, you grow stronger, wiser, more capable. This shift doesn't make the obstacle disappear. It doesn't make fear vanish overnight, but it gives you something more valuable, power over how you respond. When you stop fighting, when you stop resisting, anxiety loses its hold. You find calm in the middle of chaos. You discover courage in the face of uncertainty. And you realize that the thing you feared most can become the very thing that leads you to freedom. So today, look closely at your obstacles. What stands in your way? Now imagine turning that barrier into your path forward. Imagine moving not around it, but through it. Because sometimes, the only way out is right through the thing you fear. And the final Stoic tactics. Journal like a Roman emperor. Imagine a man standing alone in his private chambers, scribbling thoughts onto pages that would one day inspire millions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wasn't just a ruler. He was a philosopher who turned to writing as his anchor. His meditations weren't meant for anyone else. They were his personal journal, his space to wrestle with doubts, to remind himself of what mattered, and to strengthen his mind. This simple act of reflection was one of the most powerful Stoic practices, one that shaped his resilience in the face of immense pressure. Journaling clears the clutter in your mind, the endless noise, the worries, the racing thoughts that keep you trapped in anxiety's grip. When you write, You're no longer just a prisoner of your swirling thoughts. You become their master. You start to see patterns, understand your fears, and recognize your strengths. You train your mind like a warrior preparing for battle, steady, focused, and unshaken. The modern twist? It's easy and profound. Each night before you sleep, take a moment to write 3 things. One thing you feared today, name it. Face it on paper. One thing you're grateful for. Let gratitude soften your heart and shift your focus. And one lesson you learned. Find the wisdom in your day, no matter how small. This practice creates a space where anxiety can't grow wild. It grounds you, it heals you, and it builds your inner fortress of calm, one thought at a time. Remember, Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayals, and the weight of an empire, and he turned to this simple ritual to keep his mind clear and his spirit strong. If it worked for a man ruling the greatest empire of his time, it can work for you too. So, start tonight. Write your fears, your gratitude, your lessons. Let your journal be your shield and your guide, because sometimes the greatest strength lies in the quiet reflection of your own mind. You don't need to silence your anxiety. You don't need to fight it with brute force or wish it away. You just need to outsmart it. These ancient tactics have lasted for thousands of years because they work. They speak to the deepest parts of our human experience. They remind us that peace is possible, not by avoiding life's challenges, but by changing how we meet them. The real question is, will you take these teachings to heart? Will you let these Stoic truths transform your daily struggle into a source of strength? If something in this video sparked a flicker of hope, a moment of clarity, or even a small shift in how you see your anxiety, then this is your call to action. Hit that like button, subscribe to join a community seeking calm in the chaos, and drop a crosswords in the comments if you're ready to fight back with Stoic strength. Your calm, your clarity, your power. It's not something distant or impossible. It's already inside you, waiting for you to claim it. So take that first step, and let's walk this path together.